Welcome everybody. It's Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, so it's time for Stampin' with Denise. It's good to see you. We'll give everybody just a second here to get on. I'm going to pull it up on my computer so I can make sure I can see what's going on too. Oh, let's see here. Oh, come on. Sometimes I can't always. Here we go. There I am. Okay. Did everybody have a nice weekend? I did. I spent a lot of it crafting. Last night we went out to dinner with some friends and we ended up at a restaurant we don't usually go to, and they have this fun trivia challenge, and there's 6 rounds and you're betting points and all of this and that, and the final question is it's kind of like on Jeopardy where you can wager however many points you want up to, from 0 to everything you have. And the last question was kind of hard. We threw a lot of answers around and ended up getting it right, and we bet everything came in second. So we won a gift certificate for the restaurant. So that was kind of fun, especially when we weren't exactly sure what the answer was. So, again, thank you for joining me. If you like what you see tonight and choose to share with your friends, share my video, you might get a chance to win the project I'm working on tonight. Last week I worked on this I did this really pretty card using this stamp set from Celebration, and Shirley Eagle is going to get this card sent out to her. So all you have to do is share it and then comment shared, because if you're not my friend I can't see that you shared or not, and you'll have a chance to win the card I'm working on tonight. So I think it's kind of an apropos card for the season. It's almost spring. We're only what's the first day of spring? Isn't it the middle of March, like 18th or 19th or something like that? So getting pretty close. I guess with that said and done, I'm going to turn the camera around, or the phone around. We're going to point you down so we can get started, okay? I'm going to put you up in the holder. Hang tight for a second. Okay. And we will get started here. I want to make sure and turn my volume up too so you can hear me. There we go. Try to get it to not wiggle there. Sorry about that. Okay. So tonight I'm going to be using the stamp set called Under My Umbrella and the Coordinating Umbrella Builder Punch. And at first, when I first saw this stamp set and punch, I wasn't all that interested in it, but I saw a lot of cute cards made with it, so I added it to my last order, and it arrived last week. I'm like, I'm gonna make something with that. So I'll show you here. Let me put this all out of the way. We're gonna make this cute little card here. It says, "No matter the weather, we're friends forever." And I'm gonna show you how to do this this backdrop here. We've got some punching and some little bit of everything here. And I just think it's so pretty, and I love these epoxy droplets. There's clear ones and there's frosted ones. To me that looks like winter, but these look like raindrops. So we're gonna go ahead and get started on this. I'm going to show you how to do it. So you're going to start out, my white paper that I'm using here is actually watercolor paper, okay? And it's kind of important because we are going to be doing kind of a wet technique here, but it's not hard at all, okay? Now we're going to get a little bit of ink. In these old style stamp pads, you can stamp them, or you can kind of squeeze them and get some ink in the lid like that, okay? If you have a newer stamp pad like this, what I've seen people do, Now this has got is pick up some ink on this block and then work off of here, because it's not quite as easy to get ink into the lid on those, okay? So I squeezed that together, got a little bit. This is Pool Party. And I'm going to take the aqua painter, and I don't know if you're familiar with an aqua painter. It's got a little bit of water in here. It has a brush on it. You can open it up, fill it up with water, put it back on. And this is something Stampin' Up! Sells. They're not very expensive, and but we're not going to use very much water, okay? And I'm going to, this is one of those things where sometimes you have to go back and add some more because we want it darker up there and lighter as we get down to the, so I'm just squeezing just a little bit to get, more like to get my brush wet than anything, okay? And I'm going to kind of move my ink around, and you know, sometimes this works out really well in the beginning, and sometimes you got to go back and play with it. It's not hard, it just takes a little bit of practice, and you know, I would have liked that a little bit darker here, but we're going to go. Just kind of, you can blend it up in there if it's too dark. There we go. I've got the light glaring on it, so it's hard for me to see. I think I'm doing okay. So I'm pulling out of the little puddle of wet ink there. So let me see how that looks to me. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I kind of like that. Okay, great. And then to clean off, that's all we're going to put on that, out of that color. And then to clean this off, all you have to do is kind of rub it on the paper towel to get any ink off of the brush, okay? And we are going to come back to that in just a second. I'll set that right over here. And then I'm going to use some Smoky Slate to do the bottom. I'm going to do the same thing. Let me squeeze it. Get a little bit in here. Just like that, we're going to do the same thing. I'm just going to get my brush a little wet and get me a little bit puddle here. I'm going to work from the bottom up. Let's see. It's pretty light. I better get some more ink on that. So, sorry I have to keep moving the paper, but like I said, the light's glaring on the water and it's hard for me to see what I've got there. There we go, like that. I like that. And that's all I am going to do in terms of my background. So I'm going to take my paper towel, just kind of wipe it off like that. And I didn't use very much water. I only used like 1 drop for each color, you know, to wet my brush as I was going along. So then what you would have to do on this is let it dry. It might want to curl up a little bit, so it's good if you can put something to weight it down. I'm going to set this over to the side, and I did one last night so that it was good and dry. And you can see the paper's not warped too much, but it's nice and dry. So, because we have photopolymer stamps in this set, I am going to use my foam mat. Whoops, okay, now I'm going back to the Pool Party, and there's some raindrops in this set. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure your raindrops are going the right direction. I'm going to ink them up, put some up here, and then I'm going to stamp off and so they're lighter down there, okay? Kind of get some raindrops in there. Okay, I'm gonna stamp off on that one because I want just a little bit of light right over there. There we go. Okay, I think that's plenty. Sometimes less is more. I don't have anything else I'm going to be using the Pool Party on right now. And I'm going to go ahead and take my pretty Peacock, and I am going to stamp the sentiment. It says, "No matter the weather, we're friends forever." Hi, if you just joined me, we're using one of my brand new bundles from the catalog. It's the Umbrella Builder Punch and the stamp set Under My Umbrella. And don't forget to share. so that your friends can, if you like what you see, share, and you might win. I might be sending you this card. So I'm going to put this sentiment fairly far over to the right. There we go. Yeah, you really want that piece of paper dry before you stamp on it. It works much better. So I'm going to put that. And so really that is our base right there. That is all we're going to do on that right now. That's the only stamping. Now we're going to work on some other pieces. The umbrella here is made, it's punched out of this paper from the, I don't know, shoot, what's the name of the paper? It's the French paper. It's so pretty. I had it and then I put it away. Oh, I'll remember the name of that paper. Don't you hate when you do that? Okay, let me see if I can find it here real quick. It is the Parisian Blossoms right here. It's this paper that I used. And it's the one, it's the petal pink with the silver words on it. That it made it good. So I'm going to use the umbrella. This stamp set, I didn't really show you the stamp set. It's got a closed umbrella, it's got an open umbrella, it's got a handle, some boots, the raindrops. You know, we're using all of these on this card today. I'm using a couple of the little flower, and we're using that sentiment there. So it's kind of nice, and it kind of reminds me of spring, and I'm all ready for spring. So, although not a bad winter. I'm using the Memento Black ink, okay? I'm going to ink up my stamp just like this, and I'm going to line, actually, because this is going to go upside down, I want my words the right way. I guess it really doesn't make much difference. But we're going to stamp on here. I'm trying to make sure I'm going to put right on here. There we go. And I am going to punch it out with the builder punch. Okay. I like to turn it over so I can see. It's going to go in like this. And on little pieces like this, if you can't make it reach, you get a little piece of a post-it note or a little flag or something and use it like a handle to put your piece of paper in here. And I like to just lay it down, and this way I can see, make sure I get it all lined up. I'm trying to look here overhead, and hopefully you can see it too. Let's see here. That looks pretty good right about there. There we go. Beautiful. You can see I didn't want a big piece of paper because it was all going to get punched up. I got part of a cane out of that. Okay. So I think I can still use that. So I'm going to get that paper out of the way. So that's my umbrella. And while I've got it, I'm going to go ahead and put my dimensionals on the back. And then it'll be ready to go when I need it. There we go. Good. Okay, the next thing we're going to stamp is the handle for the umbrella. And I'm going to use soft suede ink and stamp it on soft suede paper. Okay. And I suppose if you wanted to, you really don't have to stamp it. You could just punch it out. But I decided to go ahead and, let's see which way. I'm going to do it this way. And punch it, or stamp it and then punch it out. There we go. Let me put that out of the way. So we've used Pool Party, Pretty Peacock, Soft Suede, and the Memento Black. Here's my punch. I'm going to put this right in here. It's just a little bit tall. I got to trim the bottom of that off. Where's my scissors at? So it'll fit in the punch. because it's pretty close down here. Right, just like, oh, look, I didn't take quite enough off here. Okay. There we go. I'm going to hold this up so I can see it better. Again, kind of center it in your punch. Oh shoot, I think I get it. And then I go move. There you go. And there we go. And there's our handle. Get rid of that right there too. Okay. We don't need anything else for the punch. The next thing we have to do, and I've already done it, is I stamped out the boots. This is on Daffodil Delight, and I just, you know, fussy cut them around. I decided to just do that ahead of time so that you did, you know, because you know how to do that. And that's, like I said, that's just stamped on Daffodil Delight paper. Nothing else done there. And I stamped and already colored and cut out some flowers. Okay, I didn't know exactly how many I was going to need because every card turns out just a little bit different. So these were the two flower punches or stamps I used, and I just colored them up. So now we can start assembling. But what I think I'm going to do is go ahead and adhere this to my pretty peacock base. And what I didn't tell you, this base here is 5 1/4 by 4 inches, and the watercolor paper is 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. So it's going to have a really tiny border. Okay, but that's okay. It's just enough to set it off. It'll be just like that. And I'm going to go ahead and use my liquid glue on this. It's good for a couple of reasons. Like I said, it holds really tight. Also, you know, because this it is a tad bit warped. I think it'll give it better holding power. I'm just going to move some of this ink or glue around. I'm not putting any more on. I'm just kind of moving it around toward the edges. I might have to go back and put a little bit of glue on a corner or something, but I can do that if it wants to gap. I've even sometimes stuck a glue dot in there if it wants to gap a little bit. So I'll put that right there. Okay. And you know, I think what I'm going to go ahead and do and put this on my card base while I'm here before I've attached anything to it. And this is a piece of Smoky Slate. It's 8 1/2 inches by 5 1/2, you know, so it's half of an 8 1/2 by 11 piece of paper. So I'm going to just use, I'm going to use my liquid glue. And the watercolor paper, because it weighs a little, you know, is a little heavier, it does weigh a little bit more, but makes a very substantial card. There we go. Okay, now we're going to put this all together. We're going to assemble this. Let me get my fancy little tool here for holding on to small stuff. This will help me put my glue on. Hold this while I put my glue on. And I'm going to put just a little bit of this glue on here. What I tend to do is just put a couple little drops on it, and then I smear it around with the tip of the glue bottle. There we go. I had to play around with placement for this handle because I had kind of a hard time. I did it a couple of different times. I'll try to get this in about the same place because I had a hard time placing it. So we're going to put it down right about there. There we go. Hopefully that'll work for us. Okay, remember I've put, oh, we'll go ahead and put our boots down too. Yeah, those little tweezers are very handy to have. They're really nice because they grip closed when you're they open, you squeeze them to open them. So that means they stay closed on something and you without having to push on it. So they're really nice. If you find a pair, I would encourage you to get yourself some. Okay, there we go. My thing may be a little over, but that's okay. We'll make it work. And I'm just kind of laying this out. Okay, maybe not. So we're going to want to put some flowers here. Okay, let me start out with that one. It's one of those things that none of the cards, I did a couple of these, looked exactly the same. Again, putting just a little couple drops on here and smearing it around with the end of the glue. And let's see here, let's put it right about there. That's good. And in case you're interested, the blends I used for my flowers, I used the light and dark Old Olive. I used the light Flirty Flamingo. I used the light Balmy Blue. I used the light Poppy Parade and the light Daffodil Delight. So those were the colors I used in my flowers. So, okay, let's see here. Yeah, because I just want to make sure I get the handle covered up. Make it look like an umbrella full of flowers. That's why I colored and cut out some extra flowers, just in case. I guess I can put this like that. That'll probably work good there. Let's see. There we go. Hey, that turned out pretty well. I actually like that better than my other one. What do you know? You know, in terms of placement, you just never know. So I'm gonna get my dimensionals off my umbrella. And put that down. I'm gonna use this too. Just love this set. Like I said, at first I was not that enamored by it, but I really like it now. And then we're going to put one more set of flowers. We'll get a little one here. I guess I can go about like that. Okay, so I'm going to put a little tiny dimensional right here because it's got to meet that where did I say I was going to put it? On the red, I guess. Okay, I'll take that backing off and put a little bit of glue on the other part. See, because the umbrella's popped up on with the dimensionals, so one side's going to have a dimensional on it, the other side's just going to have glue and it's going to stick to the umbrella. So I'm going to put this like about like that. There we go. There we are. I like that. Okay. And last but not least, we have our Claire epoxy droplets. Okay, I'm going to use my U-Pick tool. I'm going to get a couple of the small ones. I'm going to put one here. I'm going to put a big one up here. And you know what's nice? These little droplets, if you've got, these embellishments, if you've got something you need to cover up, you can do it with one of these. That's why that one's there rather than down here, because I covered up something I didn't like. So you learn to make do. But and actually I'm going to put it there because I didn't end up with any raindrops there. Oh, that was pretty quick. Look at that, how quick that was. Quick, easy. Fun to do, and doesn't take very long. So I really would appreciate if you share my video if you like what you see, and I just may be sending this card out to you next week. So if you do share, please comment that you shared so that I can include you in a chance to get this card. So for Denise, Stamping with Denise, I want to wish you a good evening, and hopefully we'll see you next Monday. Bye, everybody. Have a good one.